SmartArt are diagrams, and you can easily use a diagram in your presentation to convey what can be sometimes a complicated formation or a complicated process. To insert a SmartArt diagram from the ribbon, I'm going to click the Insert tab, and then I'm going to click the option SmartArt, which appears in the Illustrations group. When I click on SmartArt, there are many diagrams to choose from. This is the category All, where I can see all the diagrams in one location. Or I can focus on the list diagrams, process diagrams, cycle diagrams, or hierarchy diagrams. I'm after a hierarchy diagram, and there's 13 different types. I'm going to click the first one, which is an organisation chart, and I'm going to click OK. Immediately I receive an organisation chart. What I can do now is I can type directly in the boxes, or I can interact with the text pane. The text pane can be activated by clicking this button on the left-hand side. This button will open the text pane, and this button will close the text pane. Alternatively, on the SmartArt Tools Design tab in the ribbon, I can click the button Text Pane to bring up the text pane, and again hit the cross to close it. I'll leave the text pane open so that you can see the effect of the two. In the first box, I'd like to see the text, "The Boss." This immediately appears in the shape, but it also appears at the first bulleted point in my text pane. With regards to this particular shape here, I don't want this shape, so I'm going to click on this shape and select the frame around the outside and press the delete key on my keyboard, and it disappears off my organisation chart and it disappears off my text pane. In the first box of the second row, I'd like to see the text "Costumer." I can type directly in the box, or I can type in the text pane and type "Costumer." In the next box, I'd like to see "Driver." This time I'm going to type in the box. So you can either type in the box or type in the text pane. Either is acceptable. I'm going to click in the next box and type "Socialite." Now I'd like to add a new shape, and this shape is to go below the boss. So I'm going to click on the boss, and I can either click in the text pane after "Socialite" and press Enter and type "Broker." That's added a new box. Or I can delete this bullet point by backspacing, click on the boss, and on the SmartArt Tools Design tab in the ribbon, I can click the Add Shape drop down. If I click the Add Shape drop down, I can add a shape below the boss, which effectively puts it to the right of the socialite and creates that bullet point in the text pane again. And I can type "Broker." To add a shape below the driver, I'm going to click on the driver, and I'm going to click the button Add Shape, particularly its drop down, and add a shape below. What you see in the text pane is there's a sub-bullet, and this represents this new position. I can then type "Navigator." If I click on Navigator and I look up at my SmartArt Tools Design tab, what I could do is hit the Promote button and promote the Navigator up to the same level as the driver. And you see the box move. I could hit the Demote button and demote the Navigator back under the driver. So you can easily demote and promote people using these buttons on the ribbon. You can also interact directly with the text pane. If I press Shift Tab, I've promoted the Navigator, and if I press Tab, I've demoted the Navigator. Let's add some more shapes. I'm going to click on the Costumer, and I'd like to add two shapes below the Costumer. So I'm going to go up to the SmartArt Tools Design tab in my ribbon, click the drop down to the right of Add Shape, and add a shape below. This particular person is in charge of stockings. I'm then going to click on the Costumer again and add another shape below. And this person is in charge of makeup. You can see that you can interact directly with the text pane, but now I'm going to close the text pane by hitting the X. When it comes to adding and moving shapes, simply click on a person, choose the Add Shape button, and choose whether you want to add a shape after that person, before that person, above that person, or below that person, or whether that person has an assistant. And it's as easy as that to add shapes. When it comes to deleting shapes, it's simply a matter of clicking on the frame around the outside of a shape and pressing the Delete key on your keyboard. You can also change the layout of shapes. If I click on Costumer, what I want to do is change these two boxes from hanging to the right as they are at the moment to being side by side. For this, I'll go to the Layout button and I'll choose Standard. And now they're side by side. While I've got Costumer still selected, I can change the layout to any one of these four options. I can choose left hanging, I can choose right hanging, I can choose both, and I can choose standard. What you can also do is click on the driver and change that layout to standard as well, which makes a direct line. Now the makeup person actually is underneath the stockings person, so I need to demote the makeup person. So I click Demote. I need to change this person so that the line is directly going down. So I'm going to click on Stockings and change the layout to Standard. So you can see the importance of these buttons for manipulating and working with shapes in your organisation chart.